Hi, I'm Adrian Baker. I'm the creator of Sahaja Soma and a meditation teacher and a psychedelic integration coach. In this video, I want to talk about an interesting phenomenon that seems to be a real thing in the ayahuasca world. It's this phenomenon of people drinking ayahuasca one time or a few times or maybe 10 times and feeling like they received the message from the medicine to become a shaman. If that has ever happened to you, you know someone that's happened to, or you're just even considering doing ayahuasca, or you've just started to work with it, then this video is for you. People will try ayahuasca once or a few times or 10 times and feel like they've received a message from the medicine to be a shaman. The really important thing is to go into this, particularly if this has happened to you, not with a spirit of judgment, but just with a spirit of curiosity. Quite a few people seem to have acted this out and then become a shaman, like right away. I know sort of friends of friends who have done this. I imagine like if you'd done meditation 10 times or 5 times or yoga 5 times, or you played a musical instrument 5 times, and then you decided you were going to teach other people that. Most people would think that would be rather bizarre, right? Or they might be shocked, like how you are at a certain level of competency where you're able to guide others when you're new to that. But there seems to be something about ayahuasca, and perhaps other psychedelics too, but I've just really seen this or heard about this more with ayahuasca, where people feel so convinced that they're called to do this. The first principle is, if this has happened to you or someone you know, recognize that intention, that thought, that desire that's arising has a positive quality to it, right? You have to inquire into it to yourself. Is that means you want to help other people? Perhaps it simply means that this medicine is really transformative to you and you really would like to explore it more yourself and learn more about it. Perhaps it means you have some sort of desire to work in healing. Maybe even it's pointing you towards you want to live a more meaningful life, right? There's a good quality to that, but also to notice there's definitely a shadow side to that as well. There's so many other things in their life, like when they learned a musical instrument, they might not have thought after doing it 5 times, I'm going to go out and teach other people to play guitar, right? But there's something about ayahuasca where people feel that. I'm from the US, but I've also lived in Thailand for a long time, close to about 14 years now. I have noticed a lot in the US or in Western countries where we can be very quick to think we're ready to do something. A little too quick sometimes. I include myself in this. There were times where when I was learning yoga, or I was newer to meditation, where you maybe want to share it with others, that can be appropriate to a certain degree. That's a general principle that's true. You want to reach a level of competency at something before sharing it to others. The bar is way higher when you're talking about working with a psychoactive compound, which has an incredibly powerful effect on people. And it can bring up a lot of people's shadow. And there is an inherent power dynamic that's at play when someone is even a facilitator, right? When they're just holding that space and they're offering this medicine, which has a really powerful effect on people, that creates a power dynamic. That power dynamic is amplified if they're in a particular role, like calling themselves a shaman. It could be really like culturally inappropriate to be calling yourselves a shaman if you're not from that particular cultural background and you didn't train in that lineage and you weren't authorized to do that from someone from that culture. Noting within yourself, there can be a really healthy aspect, wanting to help people, but noticing the shadow that can come around wanting to be a healer or sort of a guru. The shadow of the healer is a lot of times people in healing others are trying to heal themselves. To some degree, perhaps that can always be true for a lot of us as someone who sees himself more as a teacher or a guide than certainly not a guru. I don't think of myself as a healer. It's been pointed out by great teachers. A lot of times we teach other people what we really need to hear ourselves. That can be healthy to a degree. It can be acknowledging just part of the process, but we need to be working actively with our unconscious and our shadow and some of our hidden motivations. That's why I'm a big believer in bringing in multiple modalities when you're working with, call it what you want, spiritual path, path of personal growth, path of healing, transformation. I happen to emphasize in what I teach meditation, bringing in a secular Buddhist approach to my integration coaching. I also work with therapists, and I found that to be immensely important, and that Buddhism or another spiritual path is not a substitute for psychotherapy, right? If you feel you've received that message from ayahuasca, right, use that as an opportunity to get curious about both the good intention that you might want to nurture within yourself, but also the shadow that is bringing up and illuminating for you. Ayahuasca or ayahuasca analogs like Soma have the sentient intelligence of these medicines, really have a unique capability to bring things out from our unconscious into the light and allow us to work on our shadow and integrate them. In order to really get the most out of the medicine, we need a spiritual path or practice. We need psychotherapy. We need exercise. And I'm a believer in Western medicine and science. So we can bring in different things. Take an opportunity to notice the shadow that's pointing out to you and set that intention, but maybe really pause and choose to apprentice with the medicine, choose to seek out a qualified teacher that isn't simply going to train you to be a facilitator or a shaman, but is actually really going to allow you to deepen your own knowledge and experience as a practitioner. From that depth of experience as a practitioner, perhaps one day you will transition into serving these medicines. Maybe that's meant to be your path, or maybe after a lot of experience, you might realize that it's not. But the fact that image is coming up, that it's releasing that kind of desire, is showing you something about your shadow to work with. For understanding how these medicines work, the beta-carbolines in combination with the DMT, the sentient intelligence, it really has unique capability to bring things out from our unconscious, to open, in yogic language we would say, the channels of the body, to release the karmic knots. That's another way of saying just your psychological patterns are coming out, right? Your shadow's coming out, your unconscious, right? Desires, parts of you that need to be brought from the shadow into the light, different parts of you that might need to be healed yourself before you take that path of trying to help others. Hopefully this was helpful for some people. It might just spark some curiosity as well about what is it about ayahuasca or ayahuasca analogs like Soma that work in this unique way that really seem to amplify and bring out people's shadow like this. If this has ever happened to you or someone you know, please leave a comment if you want to share, or if you have a response to what I shared, a different perspective, a question, would love to hear from you. If you enjoy it, please consider just subscribing to Sahaja Soma, where you can get more content like this. Thank you.